and study. Read it, but talk to people too, but don't say none of it
And the
at face
Bible
value.
has been changed many times. I know the St. James version. Is there more than
King James.
that?
King
It's
James.
so
Yeah, there are
cool.
a lot of
King James. Yes.
there are a lot of interpretations. Um, but you get to the one that helps you is the way I would put it, right? Because like
Right.
there's when you have a kid who's 6, 7 years old, uh, at least for me anyway, I was not taught to read King James at 6 and 7 years old. I had like student Bibles, right? I had, dumb it down for
what was
me and
before
speak
King
English.
James? What was before King James?
I have no idea.
Because I grew
Go
up
back far enough, you'll end up with the Hebrew language and
Oh, I didn't
you
never
know
figured that one. It was one before King James because I was right
There
around.
weren't they scrolls written in Greek?
No. I mean the
but
Bible itself. I was around when the King James version came out, and I was understanding the King James version a lot more than what came beforehand. Because the one that came beforehand, bruh, I ain't understand a freaking word that I was reading, let alone pronouncing what they were saying, and let alone, I don't know if thou was an and was a thus, and thus was a thee, and hookah looka laka laka.
Also, Old
I
English.
didn't understand what
yeah,
they were talking about. And you're trying to tell an
Old
8-year-old
English is tough.
go read your Bible. For what? I have no idea what you're saying right now could save my life, and I have no idea what the heck is being said. Even if
that's
it's read
part of
out
the
loud to
issue.
me.
That's part of the issue. That's why religion, almost all of them, is dictated through word. That's why we have pastors and priests and so forth, because we're expecting them to be more learned in the subject so that they are not just reading it to us, but after they read it, they give us the interpretation so that we can absorb it, right? Because if you read these new versions, they're written like in plain speak in a way, but you lose. But if you know King James, you know that you've lost some of the message when you're reading the new version. And then King James was a rewrite because he didn't like certain rules that were in the Bible that were getting in his way. So that was a
Really?
political adjustment. And then you go further back and you get into like some of the Greek things, like you were saying. But the Greeks are not the foundation of where this religion came from. So they
Hebrew.
stole it. And then you
Right.
go further back. It's like you keep going back and you'll end up back at the
So,
Torah, which is where the Old Testament is coming out of. Is so that's why I think people who are believers try to get it across that you can't just pick this thing up like any book off the shelf, right? You have to, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But.
and wasn't Tracy? If you could answer me that, could you put up her last comment, Marlon, please?
Sure.
The Tyndale Bible, was that something done around Henry VIII and before he broke from Rome, I guess it